extended weekend, and we have Friday off, and we're starting a new unit today. We'll be going over the Holocaust over the next few weeks, and specifically in English, the literature of the Holocaust. Ironically enough, you'll also be going over World War II in your history classes over the next few weeks, so it goes along pretty well together. Before we get into the Holocaust, and before I give you a little background information that your social studies teacher is probably giving you, I'd like you to take a look at the word on the board here. Intolerance. Has everyone ever heard this word before, intolerance? If so, raise your hand. Only Rose? Rose, what do you think it means to be intolerant? It's kind of the opposite of intolerant. You know, your parents sometimes may be tolerant of you, but to be intolerant is not accepting or understanding of somebody of a particular culture, race, gender, sexual preference, really just being unaccepting of somebody. And it's got a very negative connotation, so it's never good to be intolerant in most cases. Can anybody think of something today in our society that displays intolerance, now that you know what it means? Matt, maybe? You look like you're thinking.
Maybe the
Dalai Lama, yeah, definitely. Lots of things. What about Nicole? Anything that you think shows intolerance? Any kind of act, any kind of group maybe, or something that's been going on in our society?
Maybe Martin Luther King?
Yeah, definitely. He's stepping up against intolerance, racism, the Ku Klux Klan, all of that. It's all deals with intolerance and people not able to understand that. Maybe even in our own school, we see bullying. Has everyone here seen bullying in the hallways? Have you ever been bullied or bullied somebody? I know I've been bullied, and, you know, when I was younger, you know, picked on people, you know. Intolerance is right alive and well in our school with bullying, and it's very important to step out. So I'm going to hand out this nice little graphic organizer just to kind of give you some key ideas about intolerance. And right on there, it's just a list of a lot of the things that we just talked about. Hatred, racism, sexism, bullying, stereotyping, prejudice. You can be intolerant of somebody if they're bigger than you, if they're smaller than you, if they have a disability. You can be intolerant of a lot of things. And intolerance is the overarching theme that we'll be dealing with over the next few weeks. The particular text that we'll end up studying is The Diary of a Young Girl by Anne Frank. Has anyone here ever heard of this, or ever heard of Anne Frank? Yes, Nicole? All three? Yeah. And although we haven't started it yet, and we're really not going to go into detail today, this is the text that we'll really be focusing on over the next few weeks. So as you know from what we've just talked about, intolerance is bad, and it can lead to some harmful things for everyone involved and those targeted. One of the biggest acts of intolerance in the history of the world was the Holocaust. Now, who's heard of the Holocaust? Everyone? Nicole, would you like to tell us maybe what the Holocaust was?
That was Hitler put a lot of Jewish people and any other person that he didn't agree with in concentration camps.
Right. Anything else from Rose or Matt? Anything?
He ended up killing a lot of those people for really no good reason.
Right. And because he was intolerant of people. Did you know that over 6 million European Jews were murdered in a 5-year period? 6 million Jews were put into extermination camps and killed because of intolerance from Adolf Hitler and the Nazis. And we'll get into all those technical terms like Nazism and who Adolf Hitler was in the coming weeks. But today, the most important thing to remember is the effect of intolerance on these people. And as Nicole pointed out, it wasn't just the Jewish people that were killed, it was anyone who wasn't tolerated by Hitler. So gypsies, poor people, elderly, midgets, people with disabilities, people of other races, you know, Hispanics, all types of people were murdered in a mass genocide. So getting into the literature standpoint, the first thing I'm going to do is hand out 2 poems written by Aldo Kraus, who is a present day, so that means right now he's writing, Jewish poet. And I'd like you guys to do your think, pair, share, so if the 3 of you, maybe Rose, you can move your chair over here. I want you to take a look at these poems, read them quietly to yourselves, and then kind of discuss with your partners here where you think intolerance is shown. Not that he is intolerant to others, but where you think he displays this idea of intolerance or hatred against his fellow Jewish people. I'll give you guys, 2 or 3 minutes, pretty short poems, and then I'll read it out loud and we can discuss it. for homework, I give out this quote, I give out a sheet, like I said, I have it with me, I'll give it to you. And it's got the quote, "It's really a wonder that I haven't dropped all my ideals, because they seem so absurd and impossible to carry out. Yet I keep them because in spite of everything, I still believe that people are really good at heart." And that's just a famous quote that I've remembered and struck with me in my heart from the Diary of Anne Frank. And just on a sheet of notebook paper, for homework, you know, I have them explain what I think they think that quote means, really. Like I said, this wasn't a lesson plan that was meant to jump right into the Diary of Anne Frank. I really wanted to get into this theme of intolerance. I think that's the most important thing at that age group, is to get them while they're that age. So that's what I was wondering.
Okay, you can click this now.